Well, guys, we shall next begin with the module 4, that is dynamic programming. Okay, so here first we shall understand the difference between the greedy method, yeah, so which we studied in the previous module, and the dynamic programming. So once again, dynamic programming is basically a algorithm design technique, okay, in which the result is found by a sequence of decisions. Okay, the result is found by sequence of decisions. Okay, so whether it is a greedy or dynamic programming strategy, both are algorithm design technique, and both are designed for the optimization problem. So our goal is to optimize. It may be to minimize some cost or to maximize the profit or whatever. Okay, so they basically are designed for optimization. Okay, so in case of the greedy approach, there is a predefined procedure. Predefined procedure. Okay. However, in the dynamic programming, there is a sequence of decisions that is taken. Okay. So in the dynamic programming, usually it enumerates all possible solutions, and we have to pick up the best. We have to pick up the best, right? So we shall look at what is this predefined procedure and what is the sequence of decisions. Okay, so take one example of any greedy approach. For example, minimum cost spanning tree, Prim's Kruskal's algorithm, for example. So here there was a predefined procedure that we should select only the minimum cost edge at each stage. Okay, so at each stage we select the minimum cost edge, and this procedure is fixed. Okay, however, in the dynamic programming, there is a sequence of decisions that is taken. I mean, at each stage we make decision. We make decision to achieve the optimization. Okay, in dynamic programming, we take decision at each stage in order to achieve the optimization. Okay, all right. So one more thing is the dynamic programming works on what is called as the principle of optimality. Principle of optimality. So what this principle of optimality says is that an optimal sequence of decisions has the property that whatever the initial state and decisions are, the remaining decisions must constitute an optimal decision sequence with regard to the state resulting from the first decision. Okay. So I repeat the principle of optimality. The principle of optimality states that an optimal sequence of decisions has the property that whatever the initial state and decisions are, the remaining decisions must constitute an optimal decision sequence with regard to the state resulting from the first decision. Okay. So in case of greedy, the procedure was predefined. I mean, at each stage we take only one kind of decision, that is we select the minimum cost edge. But in dynamic programming, that is not the case. Whatever may be the initial stage and initial decision, the next decision is purely not related to the first decision. Okay, and finally this sequence of decisions should lead to the optimal decision, should lead to the optimal sequence of result. Okay, just to understand the dynamic programming, let us consider one example. Okay, so let us consider a graph. We have a source vertex and we have some destination vertex. Very small example I will quote here. Okay, all right. Now, right. So now the problem is to find the shortest path from source to destination. From source to destination. Okay. So our intuition always says from the source to destination we always select the minimum cost edge, right? But in this very small example you see that from source to destination, if at all I select this edge first, which is having the minimum cost, the next edge which is having the cost 10, yes, the total cost from source to destination is 12, and in this case 9 plus 1 10. So which is the minimum cost? 10. So this path is the minimum cost path from source to destination. Okay. Therefore, the decision that we are taking at any node should not be as per the local condition. It should lead to, it should consider all the global situation and we should proceed, isn't it? Okay. So one example for dynamic programming and where the principle of optimality holds is the shortest path example. Shortest path example. Okay. Assume that I1 I2 up to j is the shortest path from I to j, is the shortest path from I to j. Okay. Now suppose I is the the initial vertex. We have made a decision to go to the vertex I1. Okay. And if at all I1 I2 up to j is not a shortest path, right, is not a shortest path. Okay. Say for example, initially we have made a decision from S to this vertex which is having lesser cost. Okay. However, from this vertex to this vertex does not constitute the overall shortest path. Okay. So that is what, if at all I1 to j is not a shortest path, then we have to go for another path, call it as R1 R2 to j, which is a shortest path, isn't it? Therefore, we have to take some different kind of decision here. We have to take a different kind of decision here according to the global optimization result, according to the global optimization requirement. Therefore, in that case I R1 R2 up to j becomes the shortest path, isn't it? Okay. So this is one example where the principle of optimality holds. Okay. So even though if you take a decision at the starting vertex, say for example you take this decision to go to the this vertex because this is having the lesser cost, however that does not lead to shortest path from source to destination. Okay, right? So this is one example. Now in order to better understand the dynamic programming, so we shall consider one more example. So let us consider the problem of finding the Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series. So hope you already know what is the Fibonacci series and the recursive and iterative functions to write the Fibonacci series. The Fibonacci series is the one that is 0, then 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 like this, correct? So this is the 0th Fibonacci term, this is first Fibonacci term, this is second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. So I write a recursive formula, that is fib of n is 0 if n is equal to 0, it is 1 if n is equal to 1, and it is fib of n minus 2 plus fib of n minus 1 if n is greater than 1. All right. Okay. Now we shall write a recursive function for this, int fib int n. So if n is less than 1, return 1, else return fib of n minus 2 plus fib of n minus 1, isn't it? Okay, correct. Now shall we write tracing tree for this? Consider an example. I want to find the fifth term, fib of 5. Okay, so if I call fib of 5, what happens? So fib of 5, so n value is 5, 5 is less than 1 condition, 5 less than 1 condition fails, therefore it will in turn call fib of 3 and fib of 4, isn't it? Then fib of 3 in turn calls fib of, so 3 less than 1 condition fails, once again it is fib of 1 and fib of 2, correct. Next, fib of 1, so fib of 1, so once again it calls, yeah, so if the n value is so it is less than or equal to 1, okay, less than or equal to 1. So if fib of 1, the value is 1. So fib of 2, the value is, again it calls fib of 0 and fib of 1, correct. Next, fib of 0, so it returns the value of n, it returns the value of n, which is nothing but 0, and fib of 1 returns the value of that is value of n, that is nothing but 1. So 0 plus 1, now return to fib of 2, correct. Then fib of 1 returns 1, therefore fib of 3 is nothing but 1 plus 2, so like that. So similarly at right hand side, so fib of 4 calls fib of 2 and fib of 3. Next, fib of 2 calls fib of 0, then fib of 1, then fib of 0 is 0, then it is 1, fib of 3 once again calls fib of 1, then fib of 2, next fib of 2 calls fib of 0, then fib of 1, okay. So this is how the decision tree is, right. Now can you find can you write a recursive formula for this algorithm? So it is very easy. There is a recursive formula, and for to find the time taken, I mean to compute the time complexity t of n, yeah, you can see it is the number of additions is the basic step. So here the number of basic operation is 1, okay, and it is the function is in turn calling is in turn getting called 2 times, here 1 time and here 1 time, okay. So just for simplicity I consider this as n minus 1, therefore t of n will be 2 into t of n minus 1, okay, plus 1, which is additions, number of additions, okay. Now apply the master theorem, So what is the t of n? So t of n belongs to big O of 2 to the power n. Apply the master theorem, okay. So 2 to the power n, it is exponential in nature, okay. So if you have like n square, n cube, then it is quite okay, acceptable, but 2 to the power n, it is highly time consuming, okay, right. So that is where the dynamic programming comes. So we can reduce this time complexity by 2 ways, either by memorization or by what is called as tabulation method, okay. So in case of memorization, it is usually called as the top down approach, and tabulation is the bottom up approach, and both will reduce the time complexity from exponential to either linear or quadratic. Okay, right.